So I was just laid off from the greatest job that I've ever had. Kind of a little bit of a backstory. I started working at a Mr. Car Wash. Because my best friends, who now ex, but at the time they were in a very long-term relationship. He was a manager at a location. I had just taken care of my grandfather. Watched him die. He asked me to move in with him and take care of him for his final days. And I had nowhere to go. He died, obviously. I was living in his house. They were going to sell his house, so I had to find something different. So my best friend, she said, he's a manager, and they came to me, and they said, come move in with us. We're getting a house. You can live in a room. And you can work. And it was gorgeous. It was a beautiful gift to have people that gave me that would give me that opportunity to move into a new chapter in my life. Well, they broke up. So they sold the house. They were selling their house. I needed a new place to move on to. I was also very much in adoration or love or lust. I don't know. I very much liked a girl that worked with me at Mr. Car Wash. So I wanted something new, and I decided, so I went on applications, applied and everything like that. And then I saw Hertz Rent-A-Car. And so I applied there. Got a text, interviewed, and got the job. I thought best out of sight, out of mind, right? So if I didn't see her, then I wouldn't have to feel jealous or anything like that. At the time, she was in a relationship. And I decided to move on, get a new job, and I worked over at Hertz, and I moved over to Hertz. And Hertz was very good to me. It was basically unlimited overtime. The pay wasn't great, but the amount of hours that I could work, because this was a place with very open doors, not very respectable, right? This was a place that a lot of people don't respect. I started at the very entrance level of working at an airport Hertz. I don't know if you know this, but you start off basically flagging people in. At Mr. Car Wash, I was the guy that waved people into the car wash, so naturally, right? It was a cool deal for me. I'd move people, flag them into the job, flag them in so they can park, return their vehicle, and then move on. kept showing up for work, gradually learned the different areas that I was supposed to learn of the position. And life was fine. I had to move out of the house that I was living in because they were going through a breakup and he was selling the house. So I found this place, signed a 2-year lease. It was, how everything fell into place was beautiful. And so I had a new job, had a new place. And then the girl that I was very much infatuated with at Mister, she texted me. She said, "Do you want to go play pool?" So we went out and we played pool. And we ended up dating and got into a relationship. It was very wonderful. It's a very wonderful time of my life. I was incredibly burned out. I was working 6 days a week. I was working up to almost 12, 13 hours a day. My longest shift at that place was 19 hours. I put in my time. And it was like that for a year. I ended up breaking up with that girl. Life moved on. And I wanted to move up. So I put in every time. Every single one of the managers, every single time they asked me to do something, I did it. Because I wanted to be one of them. I wanted to be an operations manager. I don't know if you know this. But if you are an operations manager or whatever the title is, if you're a manager for Hertz Rent-A-Car, you're able to use one of their vehicles as a daily driver. You get to pick a vehicle and then have it for a certain period of time. They call it a test drive. And drive with it. That's your vehicle. You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for insurance. You don't have to pay toll roads. You don't have to pay for maintenance. It's a huge chunk of. That's why they don't really pay you great, but because you get the vehicle, it's not that bad of a deal. And that's why I wanted that. I had a Jeep that's old, and it had frame issues and things, and I didn't want to lose it. So I wanted this opportunity. And so I applied for a position opened up in March after about a year of me working this position, doing everything that they wanted, working overnight shifts whenever the overnight person called out, or doing everything that I could to stand out. And they hired someone else. I went through the interview process and they hired someone else. And I was mad. And I was really mad. I was ready to just leave. And I was hurt. And they saw that and they called me into the office and they told me why I didn't get the position, how I still needed more time, how I still needed to learn the ropes, but it was a new person. It was a person that had no experience. I knew the system. I learned everything. I took a year working 6 days, working sometimes 16 to 19 hour shifts. And he overlooked me. But someone told me to keep going there. Stick it through. Don't quit. So I waited. And about 2 months later, I got the opportunity to apply for the position again. And I got it. I became the operations manager. I took the Uber to work, left work with a Hertz vehicle. I was finally there. I can't tell you how much I try to leave that place better. And I worked that job for a year, and then life was good. Life was comfortable. It was a lot of the same thing, but I was working 5 days a week, 10-hour shifts. And I was even interviewing people, giving them new jobs. I was hiring people. Because I seen it all. And even though it was becoming monotonous or I wanted something new, or whatever happened, I was experiencing fatigue. I knew God had something bigger for me. And so the night before, which is so crazy, the night before I got on my knees on the floor and I said, God, do something in my life. I was up till like 3 a.m. with this prayer. Just praying. Asking for something new to happen. Show me something, Lord. And then I walked in the next morning and they said, we are restructuring. And they laid me off. The end of a 2-year journey. 2.5 years. Done. My relationship with those people. All of those hours and dedicated so I can make my family happy. And they were happy. I hate corporate America. They don't see all of those hours I put in to get this position. And make something out of myself. And I know when it happened, I know God listened to that prayer, me begging, asking for something new. So I can't blame Hertz for doing this. I received texts from all of my employees, And it made me feel like I left that place better than I had found it. I don't know what's next for me. I don't know what is ahead. I wasn't given the greatest I'm a little nervous, right? I I'm a little nervous. I was given a severance check. There was supposed to be a severance pay. But when they laid me off, they didn't say I needed to sign the severance agreement in the email. I needed to sign it and send it out. I was never told that. But now I know that they won't release the severance pay until I sign it. So today I had to go get a new printer, and scan and print the paperwork, and then scan it, the signed one, and send it. But they said that I only had 10 days because it's corporate America and it's awful and these people are heartless. But I know God is my provider. And my job was just the resource of His goodness and His grace. I'm just nervous. A layoff can be so damaging to a man's mental health. How am I going to make rent? How am I going to... Right now I'm nervous. I can see the beautiful book that I had just lived through, and now it closed. It had a cliffhanger. It had a... Thank God I still have my Jeep. Yo! I'll be good. Hopefully the next video I make is my miracle. And you'll see that. How God can provide. Because I don't believe that God is a get by God. A God that just get your bills paid. Just small breakthroughs. He's the King of all kings. He is the creator. How can He not put me ahead? And I think about this a lot. I was thinking about this earlier, and this is the reason why I put the camera in front of me. Is because other than me just needing to talk this out, was people get so angry they get so upset at other people's riches and excessiveness. And I can understand that. I can understand that. But on the other side of comfortability, I hope I can say this so you can understand, is like me. I lived a very comfortable life for the last 2 years. In my own place, my own working, getting bills paid, things like that. It was comfortable. I got to enjoy colognes and fragrances, and I got to enjoy things that I worked for. But now that I'm laid off, and now that I don't have a continual form of income, it makes you just, you can see I have to strive harder now to be greater. I have to strive and be blessed more. So now my life is in a position where I have to elevate to a higher level. So I don't shame people that are living lives of excess or things like that with a Rolex on their arm or a car. I'm not talking about debt and credit card debt and excessive without spending or things like that. I'm talking about generational wealth. I can see why people have this now. Because this life is cruel. And unless you have generational wealth, you have no backup plan. You have nothing. I have to grow. I have to elevate to a higher level now. Because the God I serve is greater than this, than just making it by. I believe in supernatural blessings. I believe in him being able to do more in a second, a millisecond, than you can do with all of your efforts throughout your entire lifetime. This layoff, it's just the end of a book. But the things God has before me is so much greater. I put the dedication into this place. I showed them. I showed everyone what it was like for me to be comfortable. But I'm ready to make bigger moves, better moves. I'm ready to put this painting in a gallery. I'm ready for this to actually get seen and sold. I'm ready for the Rolex. Thank you for your time.